Did she just turn 1?
She just turned 1. Yes. Yes. 1, well, in October. So she's coming up on, so she's 13 months and then coming up on 14 months. Or I like to say a year and a month, and then a year and 2 months soon.
Hi.
I love it. I was hoping that a few men speakers would join us. We'll see if they pop on, and it's really cool to have women here, including Zelda, who is definitely has some huge ambitions for 2023, like running without falling. Right now, she's walking really fast. And she also has ambitions for feeding herself with a spoon. I'm just speaking on her behalf. And also conspiring with other awesome young leaders who are being born to co-create peace. I know she's always scheming in that. She's so ready to be able to do more things with her body. So yeah, what else are you all creating for 2023? Or what reflections do we have for 2022?
First, I've got to say, I think the goal of running without falling is a great goal. And I think that would be one of my goals, because if you see me running, I'm running from something and I don't want to fall.
I'm actually creating almost a whole new life. Man, and this is hard to say out loud, but I'm saying it. As an Arbonne consultant, I've been grounded pretty well in taking care of myself and wellness, and expanding that wellness to beyond just what I've been doing, just the nutrition and the taking care of your body, to taking care of your soul and your spirit, and pulling it all together under that umbrella of wellness. And who said about internationally? Oh, it was Dr. Beverly. Yes, this is the reason to travel, and that's on my list for 2023, 24, 25. I have 7 grandchildren that need to see the world, and I believe I'm the conduit for them. I'm the way that they will leave Colorado and New Hampshire and see more than just their backyards. So being able to connect with people. So I'm creating expansiveness and connection in 2023. And in 2022, thank you, Courtney. I guess I'm pretty happy that you did this. Stepped way out of my comfort zone, because not believing that I had anything to offer to anybody, but to be a part of the summit was amazingly challenging, amazingly productive, amazingly growth. That's what I saw as being not just a person who does things in the background, but can step up and share my wellness voice to help other people rise. So that's what, gosh, I don't know where all those words came from, but that's what I'm looking for in 2023. And it's grounded in what happened in 2022.
Zelda's giving you like an amen with her hands. She waves, and then she also does this thing where I feel like she's acknowledging with her hand. And that's awesome, Nancy. I think it's powerful to declare that into the space of this powerful listening. So we see you as that already, and I know you're going to keep expanding. That's awesome.
I've got to tell you, Nancy, yours was one of those that touched me a little deeper than I love the whole summit and I loved being a part of it, but yours was so from your heart, so authentic that it touched deeply. And I was grateful you were there. I'm sure others were as well.
Thank you, Brenda. Did you notice I had to be in the woods to even attempt this? And I sort of had a script.
Nothing wrong with that.
I think that's my growth spot. That's my happy place. That's where I don't know, my soul connects with the forest. And I believe that the trees offer us so much more than just, the oxygen and stuff, the scientific part of it. There is something spiritual about being in the trees, and especially the trail I was talking to that ends up at the quartz wall. Oh, I want to take all of you there because it just expands
When it
everything.
gets warmer, I'll take you up on that.
I'll go.
Okay. It's 31 degrees, Brenda. We can do this.
That's way below my comfort zone. Yeah. I'm working on the health aspects of cold right now, understanding that that's a thing and that my body is going to benefit from it, but I'm just wrapping my head around that right now. I've yet to go, oh, let's go out and be cold.
Layers. You have to do layers and layers. So you're not
I
going
do
to.
that when I
I'm doing a bike ride after this call. You don't want to come?
no.
Okay.
Because you don't want to send me to the emergency room.
I see my mom is on. Yeah, that's my mom's YouTube account. I'm on a few platforms co-streaming. So, hey,
Awesome.
Nanette. She had great discussions. Feel free to share your goals for 2023. I know she is also writing a book. I'll just tell for her, Nourishing Your Light Body. And feel free to share more about that, Mom, if you'd like. And then also anything you're learning and growing from 2022 or anything else at all, because this is just a space to connect. I think I was gone for some of what people were sharing, but Lisa, I heard most of what you shared about with the kindness, I guess, empowerment programs you'd like to create. Can you actually share more about that? Because now I'm not having those connection issues.
Oh, sure. So in the evolution of being more whole, more present, and really leaning into peace and kindness. So through meditation, this kindness is cool energy was very big, very important, and it's to collaborate and get kindness is cool with a K. And Brenda had a really beautiful image to share.
Mm-hmm.
It's circular, and so it brings people together, because what to me is super this, and this is an individual, it's not a business goal. It was just in my heart, placed in my heart to bring this forth so that all over the planet we know how to be kind. And it's especially with so many individuals feeling disconnected. And I just find at any moment when you shift into that kindness energy or peace energy, even in my small town, there's like 36,000 people in Butte, and there's consistent discussions over stupid drivers. Someone pulled out in front of me, someone cut me off, someone's racing down the road, and I don't really get too uptight about it anymore. It's just like, send them an intention of, I hope you're safe, sound, and whatever's going on, you find grace with that. It's just let it go, because I've lived in areas where, there's in the San Francisco Bay Area, I lived there, and there was tons of traffic, and in the Seattle area, and tons of traffic down in the Phoenix area. I know Denver's expanded a ton, haven't been in that direction in a long time. But even in small communities where there's like 200 people, there's a level to which someone's irritated. Like, you get a farmer moving his tractor down the road, or they're moving cattle or moving horses, and someone's upset. And then, in the schools, so there's business wise, there's a whole component to bringing in a different way of teaching. So we learn through our heart and bring that logical component in. And anyhow, so kindness is cool is just such a beautiful energy, and it pulls in peace. And Courtney has an amazing background that I didn't really know about. My grandchildren are all now in school from kindergarten up to freshman. And they also live in a small community, but there's plenty of bullying. And there's this, it's called Cell. So my daughter is 31. I haven't had the opportunity to be involved in school board decisions and all that stuff in a very long time. But through COVID, they have that social emotional learning funding, and it sounds like it may go away. But it was to bring in all kinds of ways that children, no matter what age group, find a way to be supported and respectful. Oh, there's Caitlin. She just popped on. That's
Hi,
my
Caitlin.
daughter.
Oh, awesome. Cool. Yeah. Feel free to share more about, and Caitlin, you said is your daughter, and she's commenting a social and emotional learning program. That's just so powerful to look at how we can I'm a teacher as well, so I'm very resonant with this conversation. How we can revamp what I like to prefer to say the words of learning rather than education, how we can revamp learning and maybe take what works from our current system, but like Zelda's saying, completely transform it because young leaders are changing.
Right. And it is a transformative process. It's a huge paradigm shift. And so, Caitlin, just to share with everyone, we are business partners we're known as the Lighthouse Ladies, and we do wealth coaching from it being an inside job and shifting our awareness that we are wealthy beings beyond measure and demystifying money. I'd like to give someone else a chance to speak. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, my mom said, time to bring in 5D energies. Rainbow said, hello, beautiful souls. Rainbow's amazing leader as well. My mom commented back with her book title, and it's called Nourish Your Light Body, Co-Create New Lemuria, New Earth Healing for Gaia. I think that might be her subtitle, or just what it's about, which is really cool. It's really powerful to have others jump on here and share because it helps you see like how much on the same page we really are. I feel like sometimes, like Lisa said, we're focused so much on the 10% or we don't agree, where we kind of lose sight of how much most humans, what we really want is peace. And so, like I shared before we went live, that's a big thing that I'm creating for 2023 is looking at the more subtle ways that we can do that, of course, from the inside out and internal healing with ourselves, but just bringing levels of forgiveness that are unprecedented because we have a lot to forgive on earth. And I think that the resentment and anger at other leaders and how the history was keeps us from wanting to create the future from like an open, clean slate. So that's something I'm creating within my community and globally as much as I can for 2023.
You know, a big discussion here in town lately, we just had another unfortunate mass shooting. And, you know, everyone wants to go to politics and guns and even mental health. And what I've been sharing with with my own group is, to me, it's not any of those things. And I know back from being a school climate specialist, they always said it wasn't the kids' ability to get to a gun. It's one caring adult. That's what makes the difference between the child who's willing to pull the trigger and the child who isn't, is that there's one caring adult in their life who holds them accountable, you know, not just as a pushover and is a soft space, but also a space for them to learn how to be accountable to themselves. And so when I look at somebody like this recent shooter, and really any of the shooters, I always go back to that idea of hurt people, healed people, heal people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, you know, my initiative for 2023 is the E3 program. The idea is to bring healing in to as many people as possible. Excuse me. Because when you're healed, you don't feel the need to go out and hurt other people.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, what would have happened if someone, now, of course, all of the backstories come out on the shooter, and even people who were tied in the community and had met him a few times before all said they were very uncomfortable with him. What if somebody had reached out and offered love and offered kindness rather than more of the judgment that he had been receiving for so many years that built up to this? Because nobody just wakes up one day and says, I'm going to go shoot people, right? There's always, and mainstream media just doesn't get it. They don't understand. And I think it's because we're so tapped into humanity and the state of humanity, and we read people, right? We see into people. We don't just see their physical experience. But that's my, I guess, my initiative, my intention for 2023 is to really spread healing as much as possible, and but empowering people to understand that the healing comes from within them. I'm not a healer. I'm not going to heal you. You are the only one, right? The power that created the body heals the body. You are the only one who has the ability to heal yourself. You just need to learn how, or maybe be reminded how.
Courtney, I'm so excited to take on E3. Dr. Kelly and I are both. Woo woo! It's gonna be awesome.
Yes, I'm excited to have you guys. And Brenda, I think, are you joining us too?
Yes, I want to. I haven't heard all the information on it, but yes, I do.
Yeah,
I'm planning on it.
You had said Tuesday morning too, right? Yeah, so you'll be in the same group as Moral and Kelly.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Cool.
And then Nancy is a soon-to-be certified E3 coach. So she's going to be able to teach the program and pass the program on to other people.
And
That's
I have
so exciting.
Courtney is amazing at this program. I've done other programs with her, and each time I end up peeling off another layer, another layer, getting to who I am. And you guys are going to love this program. You're going to, and part of the time you're really not going to love it, but you're really, really, in the end, it will, so worthwhile, so worthwhile.
Thank you.
Hi, Oliver.
Hi.
Oliver knows that my next task in this room is to wrap Christmas presents, so he thought he'd come get a sneak peek. Huh. Yeah. Oh, look, Leo's there.
There's Leo too.
There's Oliver.
Maria.
You see Oliver there?
Who's that?
You remember you rode bikes with him? Oh, it's so cool to think how they're gonna be, and also think of the world they'll be growing up in. But also,
Maria. How old is
Oliver.
Say hi.
Kelly, what's your son's name? Kelly, what's your son's name?
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah. That's it.
Jeremiah's 6 years old. He's in first grade right now.
That's right.
Very cool.
Yeah, he and Oliver.
He's the youngest.
We'll have to get them
Cool.
together.
Love to share. I want to create in 2023 more sense of community. And I would say that's an internal job as well as external job after what we spoke about with the E3 Summit. I'm so excited to be signed up to really delve deeper into my personal healing journey and to reclaim some of those parts that got left behind this life and however many decide to reveal themselves. So just having the courage to go within and to allow my ancestral help to be present with me and to um, be present for my family and the 4 kids and husband and all the great passions that we have. So my goals are to um, do my work the first 3 months and then be ready to launch my own coaching program around growth, mindset, and sustainable business strategies and things that I've been trained to do and never packaged. So that's going to be a really important step for me to grow my financial stability and other pieces of the puzzle that make it so rewarding to be an entrepreneur, and just wanting to be able to share the many things that I've learned along the way. So feeling bolder with voicing my story and testimony, even though it's been emotionally challenging since the COVID quarantine. There's so much to unpack for all of us around putting self-learning as a priority and really calling on like all the wisdom from around the world to build our own faith practices that fit our need to develop a new culture to hand off to our kids that we can be proud of. That we're not just following any traditions, but we can question everything and then come back to center that somehow we still have to express love over fear and not just be reactionary. So my other goals are just around being better at planning and having success with proposals that build collaborations and bring in grant funding and things that will really catalyze the community growth that we know is possible.
Amen to that. I was clapping a lot during that on mute.
Beverly, I don't think we heard from you yet. Your 2023 intentions?
Oh, I'm unmuted. Well, I think it's similar to what everybody else is saying, and part of my life goal anyway is to help bring people together internationally. Because we actually, is your name Mo? I'm sorry, you took the names away and I don't know everybody very well.
They're back now. I was just
Meryl, okay. Oh, okay, now I lost my train of thought. Sorry. I think that people, you were saying people have the same goal. They all want peace. And I think most people just want to live a life. They just want to have their family and do whatever they do and do some things that they think are fun. And I think that that's true all over the world. It's not, it's not just in your hometown. That's really what everybody wants. I can give you an example. My back went out the other day and walking and standing became extremely difficult. And I had a few items at the store and I was standing in line and this woman in front of me with a full cart, she just said, "Why don't you go in front of me?" And I don't know how she knew I was in pain, but somehow she must have known. And she just let me in front of her. And that's what people are really like when they're not stressed and threatened and living in fear and anger and all that kind of crap. And of course, I live in a small town now, and everybody is like that in this town. It's like, we let people in when we're driving. Someone's in the driveway, you stop and you let them in. We're not in such a big hurry that we got to cut everybody off. I lived in the Bay Area. I know what that's like. It was pretty terrible there. I lived there for like 30 years in Silicon Valley, and it was driving can make you pretty angry. It's just craziness. But I like the slower pace, and I think most people everywhere, I don't care what country they're from, want that peace. They want that where you go to the store, you say hi. I mean, my neighbors, we all say hi to each other. You go wherever you go, we talk to each other. When I moved to Chandler in 2002, and I lived there like 18 years, it was like that. But over time, it got to be such a big city. There was no longer any empty land. And you went to the store, you didn't know anybody, nobody was friendly. And I thought, it's time for me to move. And I moved to Cottonwood. And it's back to that old town atmosphere where everybody talks to people. If someone drives by you in a car, you wave. You know, if someone's in their garage and you're walking by because you checked the mail, we stop and talk. What's going on?
I have childhood memories going to Cottonwood because my mom, who's watching, her older sister grew up there, and or not grew up there, but she lived there, and we went there all the time, and then went to Sedona too, and I really loved it. I totally know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and that's missing now in big cities, and it's missing. The other thing missing in cities is trees. We need trees. There should be trees in the sidewalks. You know, small towns still have trees in their main street, and big towns, the trees are gone. Everything is just asphalt and concrete and steel buildings. And humans shouldn't live that way. So we need to find a way. I don't know if you're familiar with the Venus Project. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's a UN thing.
Yeah.
And they're talking about redoing communities so that you do have, some people want to live, you know, when you're young, you want to be around a lot of other people. You want to be in an apartment. So you have apartment buildings for young people that want to be near where the action is. And then you have communities where there's people living with families, because your children, you want them near the school, and they want to be able to play in the street. And then maybe you have someone like me that wants to have a small house with a garden because we like to grow our own food. And so you have these different kinds of completely sustainable and compact communities with different kinds of living. And I think, gosh, if you had that everywhere on Earth where people could live, you didn't need to worry about where your food was coming from, because everybody was growing their own food, and you could have chickens. And you know, I just think that would be much better than cramming everybody into a big city with the noise. Oh my God. My daughter lived in Chicago, and I couldn't handle the noise and the energy. It was, every time I visited her, it was terrible. At least now she's in the suburbs, but the noise was just with the ambulances and sirens. There's no silence. There's no calm. Everything is, I don't know. I can't handle that kind of energy.
So, Dr. Beverly, are you out for 2023 creating that sense of connection, like rippling it out to a greater, like what you have in Cottonwood? I'm hearing that you really want to see that for even the possibility of that being present in big cities in its own way, because, and like bringing it back to what Courtney said, that could help, you know, mitigate some of these situations where people are so alone. They feel so ostracized. So, you know, oftentimes they put themselves in that role, but there's also sometimes looming mental health at the background of that, that causes, you know, sometimes these horrible traumatic events. That community is almost like this medicine that we had as a baseline in our indigenous cultures. And then just through modernization, which has been a gift and a curse, we've created, like you were saying, I kept seeing like everyone in their own lane. Stay in your lane. Don't say hi to people. We're in our silo. And I remember having that experience when just various times growing up and trying to discover my purpose. And just sometimes felt like, oh, I guess, do I talk to people when I go to the grocery store? Should I talk to people, or do you think that, am I annoying them? And as I've started to get older, I finally realized, you know, there's that balance. I'm not going to say hi to every person I pass by the grocery store, but people are really taken aback sometimes because I generally smile and look them in the eye. And some people are like, whoa, but then most people are like really grateful. I can tell for that.
Yeah.
I call it sharing my smile.
Yeah.
I love to smile at people and then watch them smile after I've,
Mhm.
because they kind of get in their own world, and you go into the grocery stores or just about any place. And if you walk around with a smile on your face, people can connect with you and put a smile on their face. And it's like, yes, yes, I shared a smile today.
Well, you never know who needed it. You could
Right.
have made someone's day by smiling.
You know,
Yeah.
I took Brenda to Manhattan for the first time a few years ago. And now I grew up in Connecticut and I grew up in New York City. And we know that you don't make eye contact, right? That's a thing. That's a rule that
Mhm.
you tell people is you don't make eye contact. And growing up where I grew up and then moving out to Colorado was such a culture shock to me because I would walk into the grocery store and people were saying hi to me. And I didn't get that. I just did not understand why were people saying hi to me. And it was nice.
Because they saw you on Facebook.
Oh,
Because you're famous.
it was nice, but it was not how I grew up. And then I remember taking Brenda to Manhattan and saying, okay, whatever you do, don't make eye contact. And then she came back and wrote this amazing blog about I will always make eye contact. And I mean, do you remember that, Brenda?
Uh-huh.
It was such a fun reverse of the human construct that I grew up in, and really learning a new way to look at it and a new deconstruction of that human construct.
Mhm.
A few years back, I went to Philadelphia for a composting convention. And so living in really populated areas and then coming back home, and one of the last places before moving back to my hometown, the population was like 100 people. And so, like Dr. Beverly was sharing, there is the high and the generosity and community. I was shocked going to Philadelphia and being reminded there is no eye contact, and it was pouring rain. We wanted to see the Benjamin Franklin, spot, and the Liberty Bell that was closed, and you just had millions of people walking to wherever their destination was, and there was just so little connection. Just like, I don't even recognize that you're sharing space with me. As you were saying, Courtney, it's definitely a, unwritten rules that until you're in that culture, you don't really know how it is.
One of the things that's missing now for me is bookstores, because you used to be able to go into the bookstore and there'd be a little coffee counter area where you could get a coffee and sit and read your book and connect with people. And I was always meeting people when I lived in Silicon Valley that I knew. We would run into each other and we could talk. And now bookstores are gone and there's no real safe place to gather.
I think coffee shops have taken that.
That's what I'm just gonna say.
I
I
don't
find
drink coffee.
see, I don't either, but I meet friends at coffee shops, and the atmosphere is that of connectedness, and you can there's a closeness in there that if you wanted to talk to somebody or meet with somebody or see somebody, it's a great place to go, including reading a book.
Oh yeah. And I'm seeing some coffee shops starting to open up media and book stores right next to it. Like here in Pueblo, we have our amazing Solar Roast coffee. Shout out to them, amazing small business owners. I know the owners, and they made a cool solar powered coffee roaster, which roasts the coffee at like the right temperature, so it's not overcooked. So that was like how they got the name, and they actually sell their coffee all around the United States. And they now have a shop in Springs, but their place downtown Pueblo, they have a cool shop next door called Analog, because they have records, why they call it that, as well as books. They actually have my book Cosmic on sale there and support a lot of local authors. And I was talking to the business owner. It definitely was a big investment to do, because like the whole next suite next to them. However, that's something that books is one of those things I think will come back around, because as an author, I'm a little biased, but in my declaration as well for 2023 to create a revolution of authorship, of course for myself, but for planet, for people to tell their stories in unprecedented ways that transforms each other through authorship. I'm out to bring books back. That I think audiobooks are really helping with that, and podcasts, which are kind of similar to books in that they illuminate ourselves through just talking and sharing with each other. And that's why I'm really glad to see like kind of there's a podcast resurgence too, because it kind of got popular 10 plus years ago, kind of went away a bit in their popularity, or grew under the radar. And now like they're booming because we're so active. We want to be able to listen to something, maybe even do other tasks while we grow and develop ourselves, through listening to an audiobook or a podcast. Now, physical books, I'm really out about like growing that again. And so it's cool to see these coffee shops, like in Springs. There's also Poor Richard's, if you're familiar with Colorado Springs, the downtown. I really love them. They have solar panels on the rooftop. So like everyone said in this conversation, there are lots of challenges with that connection and us just showing up to work that maybe we don't love. And like what someone mentioned, I was kind of seeing as you spoke it with Philadelphia and people not making contact, or different places where that might be part of the experience. And what I'm really excited about, especially for 2023, is like one of my teachers recently said, being that peaceful rebel always, wherever we go. Even here in Colorado, like Courtney said, she was amazed coming here how different it is overall. I still find myself experiencing that. Just I think it's a human construct where we, that I guess a newly created construct where we don't want to show weakness. Maybe it's almost like sometimes showing kindness is an through an egoic perspective, a way of showing weakness. Perhaps that's just one possibility. And I'm excited for the possibility of humans really seeing that we need each other and that we have to lean on each other. That's like Dr. Kelly and I are co-creating with a group called Peace, Partnerships for Ecology, Abundance, and Circular Economy. And it's a newly created collaboration space of many organizations and businesses that we're all about just sharing our resources, sharing ideas, and starting to create some real solutions specifically around sacred economy, since our economy is shifting so much. How can we create something that's resilient and exciting, for especially young people to get excited about? Like we talked about earlier with learning and education, young people are changing. We have infinite tools that are ready. However, that connection piece is going to be the fuel to the fire for us to transmute the old systems that don't work anymore, that we've kind of been like pushing along like a zombie, and allow this newness to be birthed. Like we were saying, like let's let go of this lack of connection, because it's to the point where we could be disservicing our young people. So that like the last 2 years, I think, showed us that, yeah, maybe wearing a mask in certain situations can help us. However, how much is it hindering our connection? And young people, as a teacher, like them being able to see your mouth, and really littles like preschoolers not getting that development. So that's just an example of like, let's have that motivate us to create an unprecedented level of connection for humanity.
Yeah.
Yes, and on that note, I want to add what you're doing with 0 Point Leadership Academy and creating a context that everyone is a teacher learner, no matter their age, no matter what their wisdom, they have something to offer, the gift of just being present on the earth. And so we're wanting to build that through a Web3 platform so that we can connect wider than just our area in Southern Colorado. But we do have a friend with some land, and she's offered it to become a demonstration space for this kind of trading economy and building out some of our nature-based education, and hopefully some greenhouses and agriculture around regenerative and indoor agriculture as well. You know, we are working towards a big vision of some job training opportunities for people who want to live outside of the norm and be able to trade some of their skills and time towards being able to be part of the healing arts and different people who are coming online as, different types of therapy or plant-based medicines or indigenous wisdom, and being able to share what it's like to build a new sense of connection to ourselves and to the earth and to community all at once.
I just got sore circles or chills, literally like all up my arms and then through my neck. My hair's standing up, so I could actually see it as you were saying it.
Yes, and I think that's a lot of people's desire to travel and to be able to have the freedom to learn, right? To not be so confined to the rent and the bills that we can't really think outside of that enough to be creative. And so I know there's a large movement of people who are wanting that experience. And so we would be working towards a couple of different ways to structure that and bring it to fruition.
And Caitlin, I just saw you joined. I see that you're on the. I saw you were backstage, so feel free to unmute. Or maybe she didn't mean to join; she just went away. But she was on for a brief moment. I always love when people are brave enough to join the link to actually come on video. That happens every now and then on the live streams.
I was really hoping she would.
Oh, there.
Is she coming back? Oh, good.
Yes.
You just have to unmute yourself. Yay! Someone joined.
My internet connection dropped as soon as you said my name. I said, "Oh, isn't that wonderful technology?" Yeah, so I was also getting really awesome ideas. So this has been really great because I'm writing things down from you guys, and just I live in a very rural community. Lisa's in Butte. I'm in Victor. Victor probably has 800 people, maybe. And I grew up in a town with 100 people. So just hearing, we're in Montana. So the climate here for agriculture is even challenging in itself. But there has been really good developments made in our schools. Come here. Sorry, guys. To really, they're building a greenhouse at our school here. And so the kids in shop are helping build it. The kids in the agriculture class are helping build it. And yeah, they are going to. So I've had some really good meetings with the superintendent here. I think they have 2 more years for the funding for social and emotional learning. And I really am empowered to, I guess, create more information and some people in our community to make that not go away. And it's challenging. It's only K through 8 where they get the social and emotional learning. The high schoolers do not. And to me, the high schoolers probably need it the most. So I've looked at different funding and how we can go about putting some programs in from outside sources to be able to come in and speak and talk to the kids on a really holistic level to, as you're saying, it's connection. If you feel connected, then the possibility of you going to hurt another is very low. But when you feel disconnected, it's really high. So it's just, I love listening to you ladies. Thank you.
Hey, Caitlin, look at Project Adventure. It's called pa.org. And that's who I got all of my certifications through to become an SEL teacher. They'll go into schools and provide a lot of education. And there is a cost to it, but there's all kinds of grants and funding available.
Oh, I absolutely love that. I know Courtney's had some experience with the results with Bob Proctor. I don't know if anybody else knows what that is. So that's really what I've been wanting to transform into a children-based learning platform that's really fun for them. And very interactive because I have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old and a 13-year-old and a 14-year-old family.
Oh, wow.
So, and so really bringing that also to addicts and recovering addicts. Those are my two places that I feel really called to bring in some service and awareness in a different way. So thank you, Courtney. Yeah, please email me that because now I can't write anything down. He's on my lap, so I don't remember exactly what you. But I would love to be able to do that for these small towns. We are very, and it's not about politics, but Montana is very, what you would consider kind of a red state, and so we do get a lot of pushback when we try to implement certain ideas. And so I found that to be a challenge itself. But if you can bring it in a presentation way that has nothing to do with politics and has everything to do with just them having a better world to grow up in, you get a little bit more positive feedback. So yeah, I'm loving the ideas that I've been able to take from you guys and look to implement really in our small towns here, but globally is my goal. So,
That's so amazing. Thank you for being a space for young leaders to grow as one teacher learner to another. Thank you.
Well, I really, you guys' vision out there in Colorado also gave me chills. That's really incredible that somebody offered some space to be able to make the vision 3D and be able to bring people in to see what it looks like instead of just be able to have it on paper or in pictures. There is a really awesome learning program that I heard about out there. The name is escaping me currently. Tonight, this was from the superintendent. She used to teach in Jacksonville, Wyoming, and it was their main source. So right now, social and emotional learning is like a secondary program. It's not the main program. And the school she worked in before here, it was their, it was the main curriculum, and it was so powerful. And I asked her about bringing it here, and she said, "Well, we did a lot of pushback, from the community." And so I said, "Well, if we can implement some ideas from that, basically, 3 E's is coming into. I don't know if Lisa remembers what it was called either. I have it written down." But it was another social and emotional learning platform. It was based to be a main curriculum, and the teachers had to go every year to get continued training. So they would have a circle. That's how they would start their morning every day at school, was in a circle. If somebody was struggling in the classroom, the teacher would take a break. They would go into a circle. So it was so much more focused on the wellness of the human being than much information you can regurgitate out of a book. So just bringing those ideas in, and you guys have a lot of the same frequency and energy there. So like-minded people just bring more ideas. So I'm loving it. Thank you guys.
Thank you. I think it's really awesome to come together in this kind of energy. It just shows that there is so much more out there than what the mainstream media wants to portray, and that the visions that each of us have are so very similar in this upliftment of humanity. And I think it's more of the norm than the exception. It just needs to have a broader audience and realize that community, like you're talking about, Dr. Beverly, that we are more alike than we are separate. And conversations like this just really prove it.
Just kidding. Uh-oh.
Well, thank you for sharing, Caitlin. If you need to reach me, I can drop my website in the chat. I'd love to support how you're growing in this next season and learn more about what you just shared. Thank you.
I would love that, Dr. Kelly. That would be fantastic. The other piece Lisa and I love doing is connecting because, I mean, it's the goal anyway. So we have some really awesome women locally we've been able to connect with and create kind of what we have here, a mastermind energy of visions that are similar but from different approaches. So it just makes the light bulbs go off, you know, as you listen to other people on the same frequency and you're like, oh yes, that too, and oh, we could do this as well. So I would love to connect and really be able to connect with some other people around here. So there is some funding for programs for people in addiction, but there's not for kids in high school. And I'm like, oh, this is so backwards. But I mean, I think it's important to have it for everyone. So it's really where I need some expertise, absolutely, is how to get those grants and that funding to be able to push the dreams into 3D reality.
Yes, Maral and I had a great time teaching kids about the hydroponics through some different tower technologies, and we hosted a mindfulness garden club after school that was K through 8 reach. So it was really fun to kind of get the kids of different expertise. Some of them came because they already knew about gardening more than we did, and some of them came just because they were curious about what was growing in the computer room. And so being able to expose them to at least lettuce and herbs and some different flowering crops, even if they didn't finish and become edible harvests. It was just so awesome to let them see nature and like identify different plants based on their leaf shape or their color and texture, and some of those things that help us feel like what is that thing we're fighting against? Nature deficit disorder, that we're just everything is in a box. And so we can't even remember that we have roots or that there's life cycles. And so I think we're trying to get, I wanted to teach all this great things about technology and innovation and solving hunger. And we had to really go back to the basics of just what does a plant need to be alive? And how does that relate to me emotionally as I try to take care of it? Yeah.
There's such a great
ingredients, like awareness of what we're eating. Like that's about as far as we could get in about a 8-week period. And even that felt really impactful, but it really changed my view of like, who are we going to reach with the knowledge and passion we have? Sometimes we have to change and frame it for meeting the needs right in front of us and meet the needs of things that are global that we didn't expect are going to emerge,
It was so cool doing that with Dr. Kelly because she would bring, and I would too, but Kelly really led the way with like, okay, what food can we bring? Because the after school program would provide us with snacks, but other than maybe a couple times, they're all really junky and like use that as a touch point to look at the Takis, those like really gross things that are like red hot sticks that make your fingers all gross. Do not like them in my classroom. But I, with Dr. Kelly, would look at the labels, and especially our young leaders in the class who were like really interested in this topic and were maybe a bit more like advanced and kind of seeing the bigger picture of the world. They would get up and lead and look at, okay, what does it say? What can we read? Like a 4th or 5th grader or older would read some of the ingredients and like, we don't even know what some of these things are. And then we look at our sugar snap peas or other things you brought in or little clippings from our hydroponic garden. And some students would say they didn't like it, but almost every student found something they liked that was fresh, that maybe didn't have too much of that before. So that was really inspiring for me to see that. And I was so grateful for Dr. Kelly's connection and leadership with that.
It always gets me that there is the health food section of the store, and you go, well, what's the rest of the store about? Hello.
Even when I find that, I've tried some different things, and then it'll be brought to my awareness, reading ingredients, and I'm like, A, I cannot pronounce what that says. B, then you're going to Google and fact check even what is on the supposed healthy food. And so what Lisa and I have been able to do is we do have, being very rural, access to especially eggs, farm fresh eggs, certain things, but even we bought a cow and we were able to, and that's raised, on the farm. It's very, very, the taste is night and day. I grew up on elk. So I grew up just when I tasted beef for the first time, I thought I was eating some foreign substance and it was disgusting. So I didn't eat for the longest time beef products of any kind. And then I probably was in my 20s and was like, well, this is all I have, because I also don't hunt. And I appreciate those who do. It's not my soul to do so. And so I think to a degree, it's very difficult when you're looking at going to a store. So I have a family of 6 and you're trying to buy food for a week. And then you're like, oh, let's go to the healthy section, and things are a little bit more expensive, but I'm still like, well, when I'm looking at ingredients here, this still isn't adding up to healthy either. So that's where I found the challenge of creating a really be able to introduce my children to a level of understanding and awareness that it takes energy to get all of these things done. It's not necessarily money. Money is a currency we use. It takes energy to take care of those cows. It takes energy to take care of the chickens. It takes energy to be able to plant and take care of those plants. It's very much the ecosystem reflects us as human beings. So I think that's a really powerful connection for kids, to be able to bring to their awareness that no different than they have to brush their teeth every day or shower or anything else. It takes the same energy to put into getting and harvesting food of any kind, whereas they think you just go to the store, grab it off the shelf. Everything's very instantaneous now, in their level to their awareness. It's like, I can have everything right now. And that part has been a real challenge for me to, I guess, teach them that that's not really how it works, that somebody went out and did the work and now you can have it instantaneously. So in bringing any awareness to that we don't have instant gratification. It just awesome.
Well, I'm not sure if anyone else had like a little cutout happen there just for a moment, but now I think we're good. I wanted to share some comments that Dr. Kelly said in response to, I think, in our private chat about commenting on garden-based therapy and doing it indoors year-round, and kind of reflecting on it from our experience when we did it as a test run with schools. And yeah, it'd be so cool to see how we can actually create that seed to plate connection. And so with that being said, I just wanted to open space for anyone to share any kind of solutions or offerings that they're offering right now for anyone who listens to this now or in the future. Because I think there's so much play and work to do to create solutions with everything we talked about. And us connecting outside of today, I think, is key for that. So I know Brenda has to hop off soon. Is there anything you'd like to share, Brenda, before you hop off, about anything you're offering or just any services, anything you're doing as an offering for everyone here listening?
Okay. I'm looking to, like kind of everyone was talking about too. I do a lot of one-on-one individual things with my clients. And this year I have this calling to work with more groups. I'm in the midst of creating a How to Game Your Dragon course of connecting with your inner dragon. And So visit my website, brendaleemartinez.com, if you're interested in learning more about that. I do Akashic work, I do readings, I do emotion body stuff, and yeah, I think this year is going to be pivotal as far as coming back together as a community, and I look forward to connecting with more people this year. So I want to say thank you to everyone, and I do have to run.
Thanks, Brenda. And there's her website there, everyone.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Brenda. Thanks for coming.
Courtney, can you just share logistically about E3, and in case there's anyone listening now or in the future who wants to jump in and join us with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So E3 is a 4-month, I call it the E3 experience. It's a platform where we're getting together once a week, so that you've got conscious conversations with other people who are going through the same program as you. And then you also have the digital side. So on the Teachable platform, there is a 3-phase program that you're going to be going through. And it starts with Empower. And the background for Empower is the entire healing. So a lot of shadow work and understanding what it takes to actually go from being hurt to being healed. And so we spend about 8 weeks on that. And then we shift into Enlighten, which is learning about the laws of the universe and understanding a really deep and advanced form of meditation, of manifestation, so that you can create the life that you want to live and then live the life that you've been dreaming of living. And then the 3rd phase is Evolve. And in the Evolve phase, it's all about really coming down to what is your purpose, because everybody is here on purpose with a purpose. So what is your purpose? And then how do you disseminate that purpose? How do you serve people, serve humanity on the largest level possible? And sometimes when I say the largest level, it's not about the number of people, but it's the effect that you're able to have on people. So it could be a powerful effect on one person is your largest level, or, you know, a powerful effect on the masses. It's really up to you to determine what is your level of sharing your purpose. But that's what the Evolve phase is about. And so again, it's 4 months long. We meet once a week, and then you do your work on the side.
I'm so excited for it. Me and Dr. Kelly are in.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Kelly, I got your
Go ahead, Dr. Kelly.
this morning, so we're good.
All right, we're all in for this transformative journey. I am so grateful that you hosted something extra for us to stay connected, because that ripple from the last summit may continue on into the future in this pay it forward way.
And I'm so grateful to you, Courtney, for hosting that summit. It was seriously fantastic. And, you know, I didn't get a chance to listen to every speaker, but I still have access to listen to every speaker. So that's how I know that the way that you structured that is so influential and impactful to continue that journey. Feel called back to, oh, I really, you know, want to go back and listen to this person. And it just takes the light bulbs and creates such an impactful, and obviously for the way that you structured that was so beautifully done and so giving. So grateful to that piece.
Hey, Caitlin, did you get a chance to listen to Moral's and Kelly's and Sky's presentation on day 3?
So I think, yes. Yeah.
You heard the 3 of them? Because that sounds like it's right up your alley.
Yeah. So day 3 was actually when I got most done. I think day 1 I listened to 2. Day 2 I was like, I got maybe halfway through 1. I was like, okay, now I'm going to commit. You know, it's that committing, and like, I'm going to take this much time. And the beautiful part to me about that is the pause, because I have 4 kids. So if you're interrupted by your lovely humans, it's not, you know, it's not a big deal. You just hit pause and you can hit play when you're ready to go again. So
That's what I shared with my producer. That's the exact same thing that I said, because I've been on so many summits where it's like it's live and it goes, or there is no pause function. And I said to him, I won't have a summit if there is no pause function.
Oh, thank you.
For that exact reason.
Because I do.
Very excited.
Over many hours long, and the life just happens.
Yeah.
So I'm not able to get that level of impact that maybe I'm looking for, or be able to hit pause and come back when my attention is not split in 17 different directions.
Yeah.
So it was ecstatic about the pause. Good job.
Good.
Thank you for pause and play. And it even stayed where I left it. You know, it wasn't like you have to start it all over again when you hit play.
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad that it helped somebody else too.
It was great. Yeah. And I just love really listening to how you guys are being able to implement your ideas. And yes, I have dogs and I have kids and I have cats. So for Lisa and I, it really looks like we are taking the same universal laws. So I love that you're hitting on the universal laws and blending that into our wealth coaching, basically in a 12-week program as well. So that's 3-month coaching program, using the universal laws and our spiritual gifts to, as you say, create the life that you choose. And it's just the fact that you get to be conscious in that choice. So that is really, really cool.
And when is that starting? You said you're hosting that, right?
Yes, yeah, Lisa. So it's 12-week coaching program. You know, we've been doing our we offer. We're very, how would I put this? Flexible. So it really depends if the person is like us and has kids or just a job. We really make it so that you can choose your time. It can be in a group coaching format. It can be one-on-one coaching format. We really just want whoever is able to align to be able to have the best service possible from it. So because there's 2 of us and we're a partnership, we're able to really make that happen for our clients. And so it's really, I mean, that really launches in January for us. But then it's not like there's a certain amount of time. We aren't putting a time limit where you can only have it for this long. We want that to be a part of, no different than anything else, our teaching, our level to our services that we offer. So one of the other ones that we love doing is couples wealth coaching. You would be really surprised about how many, even just in the understanding, how many couples don't communicate about money and how much problems that causes in relationships. So couples wealth coaching is another piece that we brought in. We love our 2-hour Budgets Are Sexy workshop. It is fantastic. It is really, really fun. And it really brings in your limiting beliefs, but we're going to also celebrate that and the practical level to a budget and how you can really tailor it so that your budget's empowering, not controlling you. It's empowering you. That's the whole purpose of a budget. It's not to feel bad. It's not to feel shame. It's not to feel guilt. It is just so you have the empowerment to direct where your money's going. So we're loving our 2-hour. We've gotten really great feedback with that. But yeah, so January.
What is your website? Because I'm interested personally. I want to put it in the chat.
Oh yeah. So www.lighthouse with 2 LITE for light HOUSEE.com. 2 E's at the end. And we are right now zhuzhing. We're using the word zhuzhing. We're zhuzhing our website to really include all of our offers. We have a Facebook group where we really, it's called Lighthouse Marketplace. And that is a group that Lisa and I created in connection and collaboration. We invite everyone to share, to market, most groups, it's like, you know, you don't solicit, don't market, you don't. This group is totally made to do all those things for entrepreneurs. So we're very aware that there's people that are going to align with our frequency naturally, and then there's people that are going to come in on their journey. So we use Lighthouse Marketplace as a base platform for all entrepreneurs to share whatever specials they're running, whatever their business is, whatever their talents are, I mean, it can be anything from X to Z, just everything, share it there. We have a lot of powerful women, particularly, we don't exclude men, so we're not exclusive of them, but it just, the energy attracts. This is the way that the energy attracts, is it's mainly women. There's a couple men there that really have been able to create what you would call the referral networking just from a Facebook group. So I would definitely invite you guys to join Lighthouse Marketplace. Find us on Facebook, because it's a great place to meet other like-minded individuals just like.
Awesome. I just found the website, and I love that you have Ubuntu. I am who I am because of who we all are. I just wore my Ubuntu shirt yesterday from Michael Tellinger's Ubuntu group that he has. And I love that you said that. Well, that's a wonderful place to end, since we're just about 11 minutes over when I originally intended ending. So glad to have connected with y'all. I'm so blessed that Caitlin joined. I think, especially for me and Dr. Kelly, we're going to need to connect, and maybe connect some kind of connection point between what Colorado and Montana are doing with indoor agriculture education, and then how that even relates to social emotional learning and young leaders being empowered in their roles. Like you said, with the finance aspect, could we create that young leaders can be empowered in taking on the challenge, opportunities, or problems of the world, instead of like, I definitely had that experience of like, oh, we're handing off this horrible thing to them, I feel so bad, is my old mindset. And I'm shifting that to, well, let's grow and build it with them. So thank you everyone for joining. I'm going to end the live stream, but then we'll still be on together so we can say bye then. But for the live part, bye everyone, and we'll see you all soon.